Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. So in this video, I managed to turn $20 into $2,000. So I'll show you everything I did. Now, and show you what the day two, because in the day two, I explained some strategies I've never mentioned before, and they were key strategies. You may wonder how I made those trades and made that profit, especially towards the point when I got to about $1,000. So it's important you watch the video towards the day two, towards the very end. So now, before we get right into the video, please, if this is your first time in the channel, please like and subscribe and hit the notification button. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Thanks. Okay, for the first trade I took, I usually start by analyzing the charts. You know, if you look at the charts I'm looking at, you see different line colors, white, blue, red, and all of that. I have a video that explains how I draw my lines. You know, those lines stand for different time frames and different levels that I'm watching. So usually before I start trading, I draw those lines, starting from daily, and I go all the way to 5-minute charts. So you can check the description. I have a video that explains how I draw the lines. So now those lines guide me, and I also use RSI and stochastics to know oversold and overbought level. Beyond that, there are some other things I also apply in finally making the decision, which is things like the time. You know, I look at time a lot in this thing. There are times to trade binary. For example, between the hours of 10 to 12 noon GMT, that's a key time I trade. Actually, not just 10 to about 11:50 GMT plus 1. Those are the times that I know the market has slowed down and I have an idea of the direction. Then usually I go again and trade around 3 p.m. GMT to about 5 p.m. GMT. So that's like a guide of the time I trade usually most of the time, except I have a strong reason to trade in any other time. Then otherwise I stick to those times. So this first trade I took was just overbought. As you can see, RS and stochastics were in overbought, so I sold. It was clearly in both of them. It was a signal of both of them. Then beyond that, if you look at the side, you can see that on a higher time frame, it just hit a level, a key level. You know, you can see the blue lines and the orange lines. The blue lines are usually for my 1 hour and 30 minutes level, then the orange line for my 15 minutes. So it hit that level. Both of them were on overbought, so I sold, and that was it. Very simple. And 1 minute after, I doubled that $20, so almost doubled it. So that's for the first trade I took.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power. Okay, so that was the second trade I took. These are the kind of trades I teach in my tutorial class for those who learn. These are more advanced techniques, you know. So yes, as you can see, stochastics was in oversold, but RSI was not yet in oversold, and I still sold. Now there's a pattern that was there that made me make that decision, that even though it was supposed to be looking for a buy, I could see that there was still room for it to sell, and that's why I took the trade. I took that trade when the candlestick had already gone a little bit. I didn't just take it at 59 seconds as I usually do. I was watching the behavior of the candlestick before I entered the sell. For a long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change.
As you can clearly see, this was another case, of both of them, RSI and stochastics approaching oversold level. In fact, both of them were in oversold level, and then I was watching all of that and how it was playing out, both of them. Usually the most strongest decisions I make, when I'm using RSI and stochastics, is a situation whereby both of them are already, I can see that both of them are already at the same level. Now, if one of them has gotten to that level and crossed it, and the other is not yet there, then I may delay, and not enter. But in this case, RSI, stochastics were both at that level, and I took the buy trade. Okay, so we won that, so that was cool. Actually, on the first day, I actually had a target. I wanted to hit about $200 on the first day, so that was like my target on the first day. This particular trade was more risky. It wasn't the conventional way I normally trade. I kind of took a risk there because like I said, I had a target, and I was kind of pretty sure that because the RSI had not gotten to the 20 level yet, and the move looked like a pullback, so I still entered a sell, even though this was a situation that I should have been probably entering a buy. But I was kind of sure that, okay, it was, if you notice, I looked at the chart, that it should still pull down a little bit, Maybe for the trade, I should have waited for it to go up a little bit before selling, like the previous trade. But in this one, I waited. I just entered immediately, believing that, okay, it should at least pull down. Most of the trade, it was actually above. I actually at some point thought maybe I'd lost it, but just towards the end, it went in our direction and we won the trade.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
So this was day 2, and I actually started trading at about 11, as you can see in the time. If you notice, the other trades were traded in the afternoon the day before, and this one was traded the next day at about 10, 11, because the timing, there's this GMT difference. So some people, it may be saying 11, so some it may be saying 10. That's why if you notice, when I look at this chart, it's saying 11. When I look at the other chart I'm looking behind, it says 10, so I believe it was around 10, 11, because those are the times I usually like to trade in the morning, except, like I said, for a strong reason, I have to trade during the afternoon time, So let's get right into the trades. Okay, so this particular trade was just like the last trade I took the previous day, and that was me expecting a continuation. In this particular case, you could see that both RSI and stochastic had not gotten to oversold, and I could see that the pressure down was still there. So I saw the buy candlestick as just a pullback, for continuation scenario. And of course, I had looked at the charts. Some of these patterns, like I said in our advanced class, in our class that we do, we teach more about these patterns, and you can now recognize them and see, okay, this is the situation. For me, with practicing doing this thing over and over again, we now know those patterns and we can go even. So sometimes it gets close there, So I believe we finally won this trade, and that was it. It's over. I won that trade. So at this point, I was quite excited because I was way above, where I started from. I think somewhere around this point I started being a little bit more careful because now I'd gone way above my target, so I wasn't just going all in like that again. I was now trying to keep some balance, but I still wanted to hit my target. If you notice for this particular trade, I took some time. I didn't enter into the trade immediately. I watched the movement, then I entered into the trade. I could see that the pressure was still on the trade to pull back up, so I entered the trade. It was a close one, but just at the dying moment I wanted to. These are more advanced techniques. I was watching the candlestick and I saw that okay, that pressure, that level still had pressure on it. If you watch it, you can see that there were several 1 minute candlesticks lined up just around that level. So there was still pressure there for pull up. You can see the next candlestick was started pushing up even further. So I observed that and that worked out for us. This was just a typical case of just taking advantage of oversold. I kept watching that level. I knew the pressure was there for it to buy, so I watched it a little bit, and when I was comfortable with the level, I entered the buy, and that was it. It went up.
Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I'm done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
Okay, so at this level we had broken the $1,000 level. We had now made, so we're given a silver cup. We had now made profit of up to $1,000, and that was just fantastic. I was very excited at this level. So we continued. I think this was the last trade until later on in the evening when I took more trades. Okay, so for the evening trades I took, of course I was more careful. It was now in the evening, and of course I had done well. I didn't want to make any mistakes, so I was kind of more careful at this point. This was a trade I took, just watching how it was an oversold level for the two of them, and it was just coming out, so the trend was still going up, so I just followed the trend like that. It was just gradually going up, so I just followed it like that. And I took time, watched the chart for a while, before entering that decision. It was also a support level and all that. I had watched the charts carefully. So, I was excited. And, if you notice something, even though at this point, if I had lost this trade, I would have still been in profit, you get. So as I made more profit, I was naturally more careful with the trades and watching them and, being more careful before I make a decision. So that was it for this one. And we won this trade. And at this point, we're now almost in $2,000. But I still wanted to hit that level. So I reduced my risk to $500 for the final trade I took. And let's see how that played out.
Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't don't give up quick, I don't give up, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
So the final trade I took, this was just like one of the trades I took in the past. You can see a lineup of 1 minute candlestick. The stochastic and RSI level were almost at in fact, we're both at oversold level. Then there was a lineup of 1 minute candlestick, and of course that level was also like a resistance level, even the higher time frame. So I sold at that level, after watching it for a while. It was like a consolidation level, and we won the trade. So if this video has been of benefit to you, please like and subscribe, and you can drop your questions in the comment below. For more questions, I will be glad to answer them. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.